Hey everyone, welcome to the third last house church video for our happy series. So just kind of a bit of a warning, if you're not happy by now, then you better get happy quick because we're running out of time. All right, we talked on Sunday about Jesus saying that there is a narrow gate and few find it. So I talked about that's no shortcuts. And then we spun that into characteristics of people who are looking for shortcuts. Characteristic A is they're looking for teachers that tell them what they want to know. And characteristic B is that they're smug. As we sorted through the text, here's a few things that stuck out for me. My question overall, and it took me a while to find the answer to it, was really like, how do you preach this text in a way that would land? I had trouble seeing myself in it, I think. For me, my question then was, where am I in this text? What does Jesus want to say to me? Often that comes really quick, but in this text, maybe it's the different levels. There's the teacher, there's the disciple, there's the true teacher, there's the false teacher. And I just felt like there was really something there for me personally to wrestle with. Where am I in this text? So that's a pretty vague question. I suppose you'd want to ask that about any text. But this one, more than probably most in the Sermon on the Mount, got to me a little bit because I think as a teacher, I don't want to be a false teacher. So that was my question. Where am I in this text? My answer was, my light bulb was that I was a Sadducee. That as much as a Sadducee is the sort of patronizing person who can see all the different angles, and if you had only been to the same school as me, or if you weren't so dogmatic or scared, you'd understand that theology is kind of nuanced and we can't really camp on anything too hard or you might hurt people, and all this sort of soft pedaling, it sounds. Although I'm sincere about it, I actually do think that's how you need to think. That Sadducee part of me coming to the surface was really intriguing for me. And then Jesus to further say, Pharisee or Sadducee, it doesn't really matter. Conservative or liberal, Baptist, don't dance, don't go to movies, or I don't know what on this side, Presbyterian, smoke and drink and go to movies. That's my Presbyterian impression. Whatever on these sides, look at the life because that's what matters. And so I agree. I want my life to look like that. I don't want people at the end of the day to remember that really good sermon where I said something that was true. And then to have a sense, but it's too bad that his kids didn't like him, or it's too bad that he never got victory over his thought life, or it's too bad that he was so stingy, or it's too bad that he always hid from people. All these different things that I've tried to become more like Jesus in, that's what I want people to remember and see. And so there's some hope in that, actually, because you don't have to be right all the time then to impact people. You just have to keep trying to be like Jesus and trust that you will become the kind of teacher that changes people's lives. So my conviction then is to not be smug, to not think because I was well educated and read lots that I have some kind of an inside track that some poor simple-minded guy somewhere doesn't have, but rather to stay vigilant and hungry, resist being smug, stay in love with Jesus and follow him, remembering that it's not about going to heaven when I die. It's about becoming like Jesus, and there's no shortcuts to becoming like Jesus. Grace and peace, everyone. Enjoy your house church. Make sure you spend some time praying for people that don't know Christ yet. Pray, I would say in particular, about the father-daughter banquet. I know I've got, 4 or 5 guys from hockey coming with their daughters that don't go to church. There's other men that have invited friends who aren't a part of PAC or other churches as well. And so have them in mind that this is a good experience for their friends and leads to something further with these guys and Jesus. Take care.